I wanted to talk a little bit more about Tom Schraeder's work. I found Tom because I really admired his score for a truly horrifying movie called The Dark and the Wicked, directed by Brian Bertino. Listen to the music cue that Tom writes. The main character, Louise, is out on the porch and then she goes to bed across the cut. How much unease did he just bake into that moment? The Dark and the Wicked is about grief, and it joins a growing number of horror films that tackle grief. All of these movies on the screen are about grief in their own way, and I really like all of these movies. But The Dark and the Wicked distinguishes itself because the person for whom the two siblings of the movie are grieving over is clinging to life, but is unresponsive, can't even grace the people with words or company. And the movie really tackles the discomfort, the agony of watching a loved one die. It feels almost sadistic. And therefore, the malevolence that falls on this family has a similar sadistic streak to it. And poor Michael. Let me tell you, I'm not going to spoil anything. Suffice it to say, Michael has the worst family reunion ever put on film. And I'm mentioning all this because I love the idea of tackling a motif through horror. I've heard one particular celebrity talk about how he only wants to do positive movies because he wants to make the world a better place. And I admire that sentiment, and I love positive movies as well, and I love doing positive things. I write preschool, for goodness sakes. But I don't think movies that foreground suffering and the darker emotions that we experience as humans makes the world a worse place. In fact, if anything, it's a cleansing experience, or at the very least, enables us to confront feelings and kind of better prepare us for when life will inevitably throw those feelings our way. Similarly, I wanted a little short that tackled anxiety. That's the underlying motif in Eye Catcher. It also pervaded a short I made during the pandemic lockdown called Hold Your Breath, which is also out on YouTube. When I asked for Tom's help, I pitched him the story and explained that I wanted it to do with anxiety and also combine my weird childhood obsession with hidden pictures. I wanted the monster that kind of represented anxiety to hide in a number of places throughout the film. I wanted to highlight one particular music cue that I really liked here. It's when she flips on the light, and listen to this. It sounds so wrong in the best way. Tom told me he wanted to find a particular piano that was out of tune in a particular way, played by a particular person in a particular space for the acoustics. Now that is the type of person you want to work with on these types of movies. Someone who is so obsessed with doing their absolute best. I hope anyone who's making a horror film thinks of Tom. And Tom, thank you very much for working with me on Eye Catcher.